on YouTube? Wildman, back at it again. And today what I'm going to be demoing for you guys is the Jetboil. So this video is going to be a little different than my normal gear test videos, just because I'm usually testing gear that's new or new to me. This has been around for a while and I've been using it for quite some time, and it's by far my favorite camp stove, backpacking stove. I've used the MSRs, I've used other backpacking stoves, and this one, like I said, has been my favorite. Just from ease and use, safety, all those things. So let's get into it. Hope you guys like it. First thing I want to show you guys is the size. So this is it compared to a regular 32-ounce Nalgene. You can see it's actually a little bit shorter, a little bit bigger around at the base, but not much. All right, let's set that up here. So have a little cover on the outside that has a place to slide your lighter. I really like that. You know, cooking in camp in a hurry, I usually try and keep a lighter on my pocket, but you know, gear gets moved around when you're in a hurry, so I like just having that there. I always, obviously after you light it, I want to remove that out of there. So this is just your little cup, comes off the bottom. Oh, before I do that, this is a small Jetboil. They do make a Sumo. They make several different things. This one retails around $70, and without the fuel canister in it, it's 12 ounces. What I like about it, one of the many things I like about it, is the fact that everything is self-contained. So in here I have my stove apparatus, I have my pot, I have this cup, I have the base, and I even have a fuel can in here, and I have an extra top piece that you can use if you're using like a frying pan or other camp pots. So there's your little plastic cup, and what makes this guy special is all these little heat coils right here. So once you get your stove going, it dissipates onto that and opens everything up, spreads the heat out more. Sorry about the background noise. I don't have a lapel mic, and there's some crows who have taken up shop in the trees beside me, and it sounds like a cow across the road. So this is the top, and it allows it to, it's sealed like that, so it's got a good seal on it and keeps a lot of good back pressure in it, so it helps everything boil faster. Set this stuff off to the side. This is the unit that locks into the top that you use for like a pan or a pot. Now we're not going to be using that today, but maybe I'll get another video later on. This is your fuel cell. Just regular, this is isobutane 110. This is the small fuel cell. The small one will fit down in here, the big one will not. I think the big one fits in the Sumo, which is their bigger model, but don't quote me on that because I haven't tried it. This is your burner. You got an adjuster. This particular burner does not have an igniter on it. That's why you have to use the lighter. It's really the only drawback, but it's not a big deal on this one. And then last, you have this. This is the base plate for your fuel cell. So it folds out like that. Makes this really steady. Everything locks together. And it has these two different sizes. One is for the smaller fuel cell, and the other one is for the larger fuel cell. So you just lock it in. That right there, you'll hear it click. And then you have to kind of slide these around, and that last one turns and just locks in. And big thing, you want to make sure that they're all locked in place before you get going on it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to screw the actual stove on top of the fuel cell. You want to make sure that your regulator is off when you do that, otherwise you'll have gas leaking. Alright, so good and tight, hand tight. And what makes this particular system one of my favorites is the fact that it has these little dimples right here. I don't know if you can see that, but your stove locks onto it. So that allows this to be pretty solid, especially when you got water in it. You know, if you've ever tried to cook on a camp stove on an uneven surface and you got water sloshing around, you kind of have to stay with it. What I like about this, since it locks on, is you can lock it on there and you can go out and do other stuff, and as long as you just don't knock it, you don't really have to worry about the pot falling off or it falling over. So pull that off. You do have to pull that off to light it. I'll pull my lighter out here and let's get her going. Get a little gas. Alright, so that's low. That's high. Take it down to low for now. Oop, I shut it off. Okay, so that's going. Now I'm going to add my water. This one, you probably can't see it because it's kind of dark in here. It does have fill lines. This one goes up to 16 ounces at that fill line. You can obviously go higher, but once you start boiling, you don't want to do that. So we're just going to put some water in it. I'm going to put 16 ounces in. Right, so we've got it to that fill line. I'm going to throw the lid on it. So we got filled up, lid on it. We're going to set it down, lock it in. We're going to turn it up, and then I'm going to start the timer. We'll see how fast we can get it to boil. So we're at almost the 2-minute mark. I want to show you guys. So it's got this hole, and this vent. And what's really great about it is, you know, it keeps the lid on it so it boils faster, but it's got just enough that you can see. I'm going to shine my light, see if we can see down there. So you can start to see some steam and some action coming out of it. That just works great. I mean, you don't have to keep the lid on it, you know, or you keep the lid on it, but you don't have to take it off to check it and lose all your heat and everything. So you can just kind of come in, peer in. Look, we're at a rolling boil. Alright, so that hit, I just stopped it. That's at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Turn it down a little bit. Just over 2 minutes, and we're there. So I'm going to shut it off. And what's awesome about this system is this is cool to the touch. So, you know, it's just came off the stove, or it's not even off the stove yet. This is cool to the touch. I can sit here, put a hand on it. Can touch the top. It's not a problem. You don't want to touch the vents down here, but they do cool off very quick. So whenever you're ready to pour, all you're going to do is unlock it, and this becomes a pour spout, which makes it so much easier because we've got it boiling good, so it's going to be hot. Obviously, that's the whole point. You know, if you ever tried to pour one out of a pot and had it slosh back, scald it off your hand, but we're going to go in my little Cusky cup here. Alright. And then, to set it down, this locks back on. So like that right there. And we're good to go. And that's still warm, so it didn't melt that bottom part. We had boiled water at about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I've done this before with water that I pulled directly out of the refrigerator, and it took about 3 minutes. So, you know, think about like your coldest mountain stream. You're going to be able to boil water pretty quick out of it. There you have it, guys. Cup of coffee in about 2 minutes. It's still pretty hot. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. One thing I did forget to mention that I'll mention now, what I usually try and do with this is I don't do my camp meals, or I don't mix my drinks like coffee, tea, anything like that in the actual pot, just to help with cleanup. So I'll boil water, and I'll usually at that point pour it into my cup, or if it's like a boil in a bag meal, I'll just pour the hot water into the bag. That way I'm not ever having to, you know, clean Mountain House out of this. You know, you get, I can't think of what it is right now because I haven't had my coffee. Red beans and rice, right? You do red beans and rice on there. It's going to get hot on the bottom. You know, if you guys have ever done that, you'll have beans and rice stick to it, and it's a booger to get cleaned out in the field. So all I have to do with this is pour the water out of it, use the water, and, you know, whatever I don't use for my coffee and stuff will go into my Nalgene's, so it'll be treated. Other thing, sorry, went blank. Like I said, hadn't had my coffee. When it comes time to pack it up, once I've poured the water out of it, I'll set it back on the stove and crank it on for just a little bit, light it again, and that way it dries out any of the moisture that may be left over in there. But Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll get some more videos coming your way.